Hi, this is Rachel with Beadaholique, and in this video I want to show you how to metal stamp a three-sided pendant and make a necklace. So I have an ImpressArt stamping blank here in soft strike pewter, and this rectangular bar style lets you metal stamp on three sides, so you can stamp on the front and the two sides. And you can actually stamp on the back, but on the back there's a little IA for ImpressArt, so that would be hidden against you. And this shape is really great for a meaningful phrase or a series of names or whatever you'd like to stamp on it. Stamping blanks come in a lot of different shapes, sizes, and materials. So I have a couple here. Here is another ImpressArt blank. This is also in pewter in a teardrop shape. And I just put a phrase on it. And the letters are patinaed with ImpressArt stamp enamel, which I'll get to in a little bit. And right next door, I have a couple of Nunn Design stamping blanks. These are plated in antiqued gold. And I just put these pieces on some Nunn Design earring wires and added some Miyuki Delica seed beads for color. And you can also use silver-filled stamping blanks. This is a guitar pick shape. It doesn't have a hole, but you can punch a hole in it. And we also have sterling silver. Here are some great plates. You can actually bend these using our bracelet bender to make a cool bracelet tag. And finally, we also have a couple of blanks in gold filled. These are very itty bitty. They're really great for just adding a little initial tag to a piece of jewelry to personalize it. So as you can see, lots of materials. I wouldn't recommend starting with the sterling or the gold filled if you've never stamped before. I would recommend starting with a slightly more affordable material and then working up to the precious metals. For this project, I'm going to be using some ImpressArt alphabet metal stamps, and I'm using the newsprint font in lowercase, and these are 4mm stamps, and I just really like this font. And this set actually comes as part of a metal stamping kit that I'll just show you real fast. This is an ImpressArt kit that comes with the alphabet punches and a hammer and a miniature stamping block. So it's really great for somebody just getting started in metal stamping. But today, I'm just going to be using the letters from that set, and I'm going to be using my favorite ImpressArt hammer, which is nice and hefty, and my favorite bench block. So this piece actually comes out, it has a rubber base, and I just find it really nice and solid. And I'm also going to be using this ImpressArt stamp enamel to patina the letters and make it really stand out in the metal blank. And to complete this project and make it a necklace, I have a gunmetal finished chain necklace right here, and some head pins, and some Swarovski crystal bicones. So I'll show you what to do with that when we're done with our stamping. So let's start with the stamping. Now, I would recommend starting from whichever end you want to align your word to. And I think I want to have my word aligned to the bottom. So I'm going to do a little inspirational message. I'm going to say grow on the front. So I'll just take out my stamps. And I'm going to start from the bottom, which means I'm going to be stamping the word backwards. So I'll start with the W. And what you want to do is, if you can see on one side of the metal stamp, it says ImpressArt with the letter, and that's the side that you want facing you to make sure your letter is oriented the right way. So I'm just going to turn this upside down, and I'm going to place it near the bottom of this pendant. I'll get my hammer ready. And I'm just aligning this stamp with the bottom of the front of the pendant. And I'm somebody who just does one whack with metal stamping. I don't do a series, so here goes. All right, so there's my W aligned to the bottom of the piece. And now comes my O. And when you're stamping vertically, you just want to get your spacing right. So basically, I'm just going to align the bottom edge of the stamp with the top of the previous letter. If I was stamping horizontally, I would worry about having my letters in a straight line. And for that, I would use some Stamp Straight tape, which, as you can see, gets your letters nice and aligned. but I'm going vertically, so I'm just worrying about my up and down spacing. So I'm just going to align my next letter, make sure it's nice and straight, and give it a good whack. All right, moving right along, I'm going to do my R now. So now I've finished my first word, and I'm just going to flip the pendant over on the side and do my second word. And one note is when you start your second word, as if you're working from the bottom up, like on the first side, make sure you align your bottom letter with the bottom letter on the first side to make sure the words are nice and even on all sides of your pendant. So now I've finished my pendant. I have words on the front and both sides of the pendant. And actually one neat tip about this pendant is if you want, you can actually practice stamping on the back because no one will see the back. So just to make sure your pressure is right and get going, you can use the back of this piece. But if you're going to give it as a gift, I recommend starting clean and just having your phrase on the 3 sides that are visible. So anyway, now that the letters are here, you can see that they're not really contrasty from the metal. So the way we achieve that contrasty look is by patinaing the letters. And for that, I'm going to use this ImpressArt stamp enamel to darken the letters. So I'm going to set up my workspace here and just clear out my hammer and my metal stamps and my bench block. And you'll need some paper towels for this because this is ink and it sets rather quickly. So you'll want to make sure your workspace is nice and protected. So I have the stamp enamel here. Just going to take off the top. And as you can see, it has a really nice fine applicator tip. So that's great for really getting the ink into the recesses and the grooves of your punched letters. So I'm just going to squeeze a little bit of paint out and really use that applicator tip to push it into the grooves of the letters, making sure all parts of the letters are covered. And it only takes a couple of seconds to set. So now I'm just going to take a paper towel and I'm just going to wipe away the extra paint. Okay, I think that looks good. So I'm going to do the second side now. Same process, just push that patina into the grooves of the letters. Make sure it gets nice and coated. And then after a few seconds, just wipe away the extra. And now we'll do the third side. Okay, I think my piece is done now. Make sure you got all the paint off from the places that you don't want it. Oops, I made a little bit of a smear. Just gonna take care of that. All right, so now that my pendant is done, I'm going to go ahead and put it on the finished chain necklace. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open it. And as you can see, this pendant has a nice wide hole, so it'll actually fit onto 1.5 millimeter cord or leather, and it will fit directly onto this chain. So all I'm going to do is just remove part of the clasp to slip it onto the chain. And I'm using my favorite Wubbers pliers. So I'm just opening up the jump ring that holds on the tag closure. And I'm just going to slip the chain through the hole of the pendant. And now I'll replace that jump ring with the tag. I actually love using gunmetal findings with this ImpressArt pewter because the pewter is kind of a deeper metal color than straight silver, and it has kind of an antiqued look, so I just think it looks really great with gunmetal, and the gunmetal plating really draws out the darkened patina of the letters, so I think it makes a nice cohesive design. So I'm going to add a little embellishment to my necklace by taking a head pin and adding a little bicone. I don't need such a big head pin, but I like these because they have these decorative balls on the end. So I'm just going to put on one Swarovski crystal bicone and take my pliers. I'm using my favorite Wubbers pliers, and I'm just going to make a simple wire loop. I'll make the loop a little bit larger because it's going to sit directly on this chain. All right. And I'm just going to cut off the excess wire with my flush cutters. And I'll just open that loop, same way you open a jump ring, just twisting it open. And I will place that over the chain and just close that loop up. All right, and now the necklace is finished. So now I have an inspirational three-sided pendant necklace with a little crystal embellishment, and you can embellish this any way you want with charms, birthstones, gemstones, and of course hand stamp whatever words are meaningful to you on your charm. You can find all of these supplies at Beadaholique.com. Thanks for watching.